Hi friends! So, today I have a guest with me. It's Do Night.
Hello.
Yep, you know him if you've been watching my channel a lot. And, sorry about the lighting. There's a storm coming, so it's kind of getting dark outside. And, it's also really hot, so if you hear the fan running, then, you know, it should just be a kind of droning sound. That's the fan.
There's
But,
nothing that can be done about that.
yeah, no, it was way too hot. I needed the fan. It was dying, even in this shirt. But anyway, so here are my thoughts on the fourth episode of Sailor Moon Crystal that has been out so far. So it starts off already, and Usagi is having lesbian fantasies about how to go, which is a little weird, because for one thing, she has a boyfriend, and I'm sorry, but when I get kissed by a random person, which doesn't really happen ever, I don't know why, but hypothetically, I wouldn't like start fantasizing about them. I'd be pretty creeped out and want to stay away from them, you know? So that's a little weird that she does that. But then, like, later on in the episode, Mamoru mentions that he met Michiru a couple times, and Usagi was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And I'm like, "Girl, don't you be trying to act jealous now, because you did not tell him about that kiss that happened, okay?" So I'm just putting that out there. Yeah. And also, I like how Minako kind of got a chance to shine in this episode, because um, before, in the last episode, it was Rei and Makoto who really got a lot of the screen time. So in this one, she kind of got more, so that was good. Um, they showed off her obsession with J-pop idols, which was pretty cool. She, like, kind of freaked out, and she was like, how could you not know who this person is? Everyone's heard of her, even though she was never mentioned before this episode. So, I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, because I always kind of like that aspect of her personality. I don't know if they touch on it in the series. I don't remember the first two seasons, but in the 90s version, Minako really wanted to be an idol herself, so I'm kind of hoping that they, mention that eventually. So they also show some stock footage from the last episode, and as I was watching, I was like, what is this, Naruto? Like, I even mentioned that to Do Night because he watches Naruto Shippuden, and he just watched it recently, I think, like, yesterday.
A sword had a flashback.
Yeah, a sword had a flashback. So luckily, nothing ridiculous like that happened, but it was kind of a flashback because it was, I think you say her name, Udio? Udio? I don't know. Anyway, she was like looking in this fountain, and it showed the footage from the last episode, and I was like, this was just last episode, we don't really need to see it, you can just say what happened and we'll already know because we will have watched it because it was the last episode. But whatever, it was a little weird because I'm not really used to seeing flashbacks in Sailor Moon. I mean, I think there was one in season 1, but that was a couple episodes back, so it made more sense. I don't know. So, then Chibiusa goes to see Hotaru again because she wants to return her handkerchief, which happens a lot in anime, I've noticed. There's always someone who needs to return a handkerchief to someone, and that's how they get them to see them again. I don't know what series started that, but it's there. And she just happens to get there when Hotaru is passing by, presumably going home. And I'm like, oh, what a coincidence. But they go into I can't speak today. Hotaru's room, and I swear to God, I have so many similarities with Hotaru. This is why everyone says I should cosplay her, but she's like, oh, I like to be in dim lighting, and I was like, yes, as you can tell by this dim lighting right now. And she also wears a lot of dark clothes. Now, normally, I wear a lot of dark clothes, but today I decided to dress a little brighter because it's freaking hot, and black clothes, or dark clothes in general, tend to attract a lot more heat because they draw in the light from the sun, so I wanted to kind of avoid that today since I knew I was going to be out a lot. But normally when I'm just like hanging around inside, I'll wear darker clothing because I think darker clothing kind of complements my pale skin a little bit better. If that makes sense. But yeah, you'll like never see me in red unless it's an anime t-shirt because I have like one anime t-shirt that's red and one cartoon, Naruto and Teen Titans. So that's like the only time I'll wear red, and I never wear orange ever. Okay? So yeah, bright color is not my forte. I like pastels and darks. So, pastel goth. Anyway, the chemistry between Hotaru and Chibiusa in this episode was very well done. It was kind of muted in the past episodes, but in this one they really got a chance to talk, and, I kind of semi-ship them because in this season it's those two, but then in Super S I like Chibiusa with Pegasus, or Helios, if you prefer. So, I don't know. Maybe they can work out a three-way. I don't know. It's so appropriate for me to talk about. But anyway, I also really liked how Hotaru was telling Chibiusa about how she knows that her dad does experiments on things and, like, creates spooky creatures and stuff. But then she goes on to say, like, don't tell anyone about this because I know my dad's not a bad person and stuff. And I thought that was pretty cool because it showed how much Hotaru loves her father and like really wants to I wouldn't say protect him, but she has faith in him, She knows that he probably still cares about her a lot and stuff. So she like believes in him even though he does bad things, and I think that's pretty sweet. I also think it's kind of weird that everyone was telling Chibiusa all of their secrets and then telling her not to tell anyone. It's like, why are you telling her these things? Because you know that she's a Sailor Senshi and she's with the others, but you don't want them to know. And yet you're telling her these things, and she's a little girl, and sometimes little kids aren't the best at keeping secrets because they get like really excited about certain things. Like even in the helicopter, she like almost kind of told Hotaru's secret. She was like, "Oh, what were you talking about? Oh, it's a secret. Oh, but we were talking about the amulets." And it was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Sorry for cursing, but are you serious? You are almost telling them things. You need to not. But anyway, so they end up going to Michiru's concert, and there's like total dress porn because everyone's really dressed up and they look all nice. My personal favorite was Chibiusa's dress because I like the cutesy little bows and the Peter Pan style collar. I think that's what they call it, that kind of roundish collar. Kind of looks like an upside down heart. But yeah, that's like my favorite style of collar ever. So yeah, I liked her dress, and of course everyone else looked really nice, even though you'd think they would get tired of wearing their respective colors after a while. Do you ever think they like rebel and wear like their opposite color on the color wheel? I don't know. But the part that I really, 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 really nerded out to was the reveal of the Sailor V compact. compact. Like, oh my god. Well, technically it's Crescent Moon compact. But the point is, Sailor Venus used that compact back when she was Sailor V. And as someone who read the Sailor V manga, I nerded out hardcore. Like, the whole time, as soon as she took it out, I was like, yes, 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 yes. Oh my god, I was so hyped about it. It's such a small thing, but I was like, oh my god, they actually showed this off. And I love the Sailor V manga. It's like in my top favorite mangas of all time. I don't know why, because it doesn't really go on for very long. There's only 2 graphic novel-sized books that you can buy, but I thought it was actually very well written, and of course it didn't have as much expanded lore as Sailor Moon does, but as a prequel series, it's really good, even though, like, the guy that showed up in the series that's kind of like Sailor V's own version of Tuxedo Mask, he never makes an appearance in Sailor Moon, and I'm like, please, I want him to show up. That would be fantastic. But anyway, so yeah, I nerded out really hard when that happened, and I would have Do Night reinforce that, because he actually heard me nerd out when I watched it, but he left the room, so sorry. We did finally get to see a new Sailor Mercury attack. I forget what it was called. I think it's like something Mirage. I don't exactly remember, but I do remember the animation was from like either late Super S or early Sailor Stars season, where she like has the ball of water and she like brushes her hand over it, kind of like spinning it almost. I always thought that was really cool looking. I don't know who came up with that animation in the 90s series, but good job, person, and it still looks good today, so yeah. I'm glad that we finally got another attack other than Aqua Mist, because I was getting a little sick of that. We also got our first look at Uranus and Neptune's attacks, and also had like the full reveal of the characters in their Senshi uniforms. But I do have a slight little complaint about the attacks, and that's that the sound effects weren't amazing. Like, it's kind of, I don't know if it's nostalgia talking or what, but like, I always thought it was cool. The sound effect for Deep Submerge was like this ocean wave crashing, and then my favorite sound effect of the original Sailor Moon series, and I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, was the sound effect when Uranus was charging up the world shaking attack. They didn't have that in this episode, and I was like, that's the coolest sound ever. How can you not include that? That's like on par with the Transformers sound effect when they're transforming. Because it's like, world... No, wait. I think it's charge, and then she says it. It's like, Pshow! And then, oh god, it's so cool, and I wanted that sound effect. Oh god, I wanted that sound effect so bad. It's awesome. Even the motion of her, like, charging it up, she, like, grabs the air, and it's like, well, I guess grabbing energy, rather, because she's charging it up. It goes, Pshow! And she, like, oh, it's so cool. Why didn't they do that? Oh! I know they're trying to, like, set themselves apart from the original series, but come on, that's one of the best things about the original series, and you didn't do it. Why? But, I don't know, whenever I need to hear it, I can just, like, look it up on YouTube or whatever, so I'm not that upset about it, but, like, it would just be so cool if they had it, even if it was, like, the very climax of the season they finally included, but I want it to be in there sometime soon, please. It's a really cool sound. It's really cool. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this episode. I I didn't get to go on a rant like I did with the last one. Well, I kind of did with the sound effect thing. All of my rants involve freaking Sailor Uranus. I almost said uterus. Like, why does every rant that I go on in these videos have to do with her? It's really weird. All of their mistakes have to do with her, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. That's all I have to say. And until next time, bye.